Hi, this is Matt from tracingmatt.co.uk, and here we have the MWg Atom Life. Now, we first saw this device in the O2 XDA Atom Life guise almost a year ago, but since then the specification has evolved somewhat. So let's just take a look what we get in the box. As you can see, fairly attractive box design, magnetic catch on the front, looking very similar in presentation to the HTC devices at the moment, laid out in the front like that. Lift the device out the front, take the cover off. See, a nice compact style device, looking a little similar to, say, the Orange M700 or HTC P3600. We'll look at that device in just a little more detail in a moment. So also have a look what else is under here. Okay, box of cables here. Okay, we have a mains charger, which is a mini USB style, and it has a number of adapters for different country outlets. Luckily for me, one of them is a UK 3-pin. Let's put that over there. We also have a little box here, which has the battery, which is going to be quite useful in just a moment. It's a 1530 mAh battery. There is a spare stylus. There's a USB to mini USB sync and charge cable connecting to your PC. There's also a set of headphones, which I'll just open. On the positive side here, it is a 2.5mm jack, 4-pole, as it does have an inline microphone, which is just sitting under here. There's your inline microphone with volume control, push button, and for answering and releasing your calls. Interestingly, it still bears an O2 moniker on the back of the inline microphone. Interesting. The headphones look really quite good quality. They look very similar to Sony Fontopia style in-ear headphones. So hopefully they are as good as they look. They also come with some different earbuds for different size ears. That's quite a nice addition. And finally, you've got a welcome and registration card and user manual. User manual is in colour, has colour photographs, pictures inside. I do like the fact that it's a colour manual and it has photographs, for those of us that bother to read manuals. Okay, so here's the device. I'll just remove the back and put this battery in. As you can see, this is where your SIM card would go. Pop the battery inside and put the back cover back on. Power button is on the top here, so I'll just turn the power on. And the device is starting up, and while that's doing that, we'll continue to look around the device. On the top we have a mini SD card slot. As I mentioned already, the power button, space for your stylus, which is a full-size stylus, not a telescopic stylus. On the side we have buttons for voice notes and camera operation. On the bottom we have socket for your headphones and the mini USB sync and charge. There's also a reset button just there. There is an infrared port on this side, and up and down volume control buttons, not a rocker or a jogger. On the back we have our camera, which I'll just remove the cover. It's a 2 megapixel camera, pretty standard on this type of device at the moment. It does have a mirror for taking pictures of yourself if you want to do that, and a built-in flash or LED for illuminating your pictures in the evening. There's also a front-facing VGA camera, and controls we have on the front are pretty standard. Soft keys followed by the send and end phone keys, a start key, and what's labelled here as a media key. Basic D-pad style control on the front with up, down and left and right control, and a push button in the centre, the push button itself being actually quite separate. So let me just get into this and set up our screen. And skip everything else. And there we go. Okay, this is the first boot. You'll notice that there was no customization to pop up and install just there, as is typical with some other devices. I'll just quickly mention the specification. Weight is listed as being 145 grams, which I suspect is including the battery. It doesn't feel terribly heavy in the hand. It's got a nice feel to it, and certainly looks the part. The standby time from that battery is listed at 200 hours. The built-in memory is 1 gig of ROM, but interestingly only 64 meg of RAM, which seems a little bit on the low side. It's obviously Windows Mobile 6 Professional to power the touchscreen. The screen itself being 2.7 inch, 240 by 320. We have built-in Wi-Fi 802.11b and G, as I mentioned, and not typical of devices at the moment, I have to be honest. It has built-in IRDA, GPRS and Edge, 3G HSDPA, and built-in Bluetooth 2. And if we just have a very quick look at what's installed, let's see if there's anything unusual with this. We have the nicely designed icons. I don't normally like icons that have been customised, but these are fairly attractive looking. We have listed here a built-in FM radio. Remote desktop is also included and hasn't been removed here. Self-diagnostic and streaming media. Windows Media Player. Windows Live Messenger is included and hasn't been stripped out. And let's just take a look in settings menu. Fairly typical there. Under system, again looking fairly typical. And under connections, USB to PC, Wi-Fi utility, GPRS settings and so on. All pretty standard. Doesn't look to be anything particularly custom or unusual installed on there. Should mention the processor at this point. It is a Intel X-Scale processor at 624 MHz, so this should be a nice powerful device. I'll obviously be testing that out over the next week or so. But to give you an idea of comparison size of the Atom, there we go, it is a little bit smaller than Titan 2 there. It's about the same width, slightly thinner I would say, and in comparison it is considerably lighter. So as I say, I'll be using this device over the next week or so, and I'll have a written review online for you soon.